Hello, and welcome to Sideways. This week, we're talking about why we sometimes find it hard to celebrate other people's success and how helpful it can be to everyone if we can learn to do so. We wonder if it's okay to take hot drinks into church, discover the names of the missing Osmond siblings, reminisce about Martin's affection for chocolate buttons, and in a surprising twist, we both select our favourite poems. Admiration. I thought you said 9:30.
What is it?
It's 9:33.
Is it? It says 9:32 on my thing. I can't seem to maximise the. Oh, there we go. That's
What are
better.
you trying to maximise?
Well, when it comes up on the screen, I can. It's quite small. It's squashed.
Are you trying to maximise me?
Well, no, I want to look at myself to see how good I look today.
You were trying to supersize me, weren't you?
Anyway, good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
I was just wondering how you've been, because I expect you've already been out, and it looks, well, it's -1 or something out there. It looks dreadfully cold.
Oh, it was glorious this morning. I walked up over the downs, and it was frosty and beautiful.
Was it?
It was a bit. It was a bit chilly, but
Yeah.
Obviously, anyone with half a brain has a range of hats to wear according to the weather.
Absolutely right. Yeah, and
And I had my thick gloves on.
did you? And it's nice and crisp out there today, I'd imagine, underfoot.
It was deep and crisp and even.
I see it, yeah.
I didn't see Good King Wenceslas. Tell you what I have seen though, which is vaguely related to Good King Wenceslas as he features in a carol.
He does.
And carols tend to be sung in church.
Yeah, at Christmas
So I've been
time.
watching people going towards the church. And these days, people seem to take their coffees into
Do they?
church.
Coffee?
They're all coming in with their sort of travel mugs, full
they?
of steaming hot drink.
Wow.
I'm not sure how the Lord would feel about that. What do you think?
I think Jesus would be okay with it, yeah.
Would he?
I think so.
I liken it to. It didn't happen to me, but a colleague of mine told me that a couple of times during lockdown, when all of our work moved online, a couple of times on lockdown, she had clients turn up to see her with a glass of wine in their hand.
Oh my God, no, that's wrong.
Yeah, like it's a sort of, like it's a social.
I think if you took wine into church, it wouldn't be right. Even though you may get some during communion, I don't think it'd be right.
I don't think. Yeah, no, I agree. But I don't think taking wine into therapy is good either.
It's not. It's a long way from good.
Not. You don't want to be turning up to your therapy with a pint.
No, you don't. A pint and a fag on. All right.
Just don't think it's right. Smoking. That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
No. I mean, there are certain things you can't really ask people not to do in their own homes.
Yeah.
But I think refraining from getting hammered while you're in therapy is probably
a little bit counterproductive, really. It blocks the thought process, doesn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. It's mind altering, isn't it?
And I know all about that. Thank you very much. Yeah.
You'd have turned up to therapy with a drink, wouldn't you?
I would better find the place, to be honest. I've been wandering around outside for ages.
Oh dear. Anyway,
what I wanted to talk to you about this morning was well, the heading of my notes was being pleased for others, but I had a sort of a subtitle which was the opposite of jealousy. So it was that I really wanted to look at, and we've probably all known people that are always sort of bitter and envious of others. I think we all come across those people that are really negative, and there's probably times we can get a little bit jealous or envious of other people's success or good fortune, especially if it's sort of unwarranted or undeserved. I think that's when it hurts most.
What do you mean? Do you mean when we think it's undeserved?
Well, yes, I suppose it would be in our own minds, but it just reminds me of, I remember a guy I worked with who was a bully. He wasn't a nice person, and he won a camper van in a competition, right? And he lauded it over everyone with it. Because there was a girl that worked in the office who had a scruffy little camper van that she was really proud of, but it was dilapidated, and he gave her grief over it the whole time, And I thought, that's gone to the wrong person, that prize.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I hadn't really thought of it like that, but yeah, sometimes I must admit that I do secretly judge people who win the lottery.
Do you? Yes.
Yeah, I sort of look at them and I think, did you really need to win the lottery?
Yeah.
What are you going to do with that sort of 3 million quid you've got? You're going to do anything positive with it?
Yeah, or constructive.
So yeah, you're right. I can be a little bit judgmental. Things like that, I think. Is that
judgmentalism or jealousy at that point?
Well, I'm just wondering about that because I'm wondering if at the root of it is perhaps a little bit of, why couldn't I win that?
Well, yeah, I suppose. I'd use it much better way.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's it. I think it's a sort of a belief that I'd make better use of the resources.
Yeah. Yeah, so perhaps there is a little bit of jealousy in there. Yeah,
maybe.
But not too much. But it's what I want to discuss with you really is, why that is. While we can perhaps be a little bit jealous or envious, but really how we can be happy for others, and how this shift happens when you go into recovery, which is why it's a relevant topic. Okay. I mean, the idea came to me for this episode because last week I sat and watched one of my oldest recovery buddies, Nick, playing guitar and singing in a pub last weekend. And I've watched him struggle for many years with his addiction. And now he's in a sustained period of sobriety and doing what he's very accomplished at. And I've got this real sense of joy and almost pride watching him. My input into his recovery has been minimal. It's all been his own hard work. He's had lots of help. But I felt real pride for him. And in fact, I watched him again last night. I was out, we had our Christmas meal last night. Then some of us went on to watch him play in the White Horse up the London Road. Which is
nice.
A pub I used to play football for. So it was I haven't been in there for many years. So I watched him again. And again, I've got this surge of pride and I'm feeling really pleased for him. And it's a nice feeling. It really is.
Yeah, one of the few sober Christmas do's that will be taking place in the next few weeks.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, it was sort of strange because I know it's quite early for a Christmas do, but it was the only time we could get quite a large crowd of us booked in.
Yeah.
So and thanks to Ronnie for organising that. She did a marvellous job getting us all. I know what a ball ache it is. I've done that in the past years. And so when she said she wanted to do it, I was more than happy. So we had this Christmas do. So yeah, so we had a long table with us, all of us on there. Yeah, not the alcohol bill was zero. So
nice.
They didn't make much out of us on that night, that's for sure.
So I know we're going off at a slight tangent here, but just a question.
Okay.
Knowing that Christmas is quite a difficult time for a lot of people in recovery.
Yeah.
Is there some sort of hesitancy from people in group when you organise something like a Christmas do? Are there some people that think, I just want to stay away from Christmas full stop, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there are. And there's a couple of people that said, I'm not ready yet to go.
That was going to be my other question. Does it tend to be people who are earlier in their recovery?
No, it tends to be people that it's sustained. Right. So because it's not really that appropriate, but it's just about the joy of connection and getting back into society after many years in the wilderness. So it's lovely. It really is.
Very good. Did you have crackers?
Did we have crackers?
Yeah.
Yes, we did. Of course we did. Yeah, we had to. Yeah, and I think we're one of the earliest Christmas parties. There wasn't many other people in there with hats on.
Other people must have been looking at your group thinking, crikey, they're on it early doors this
What's
year.
What's going on? Yeah. How come they're having so much fun with no wine on the table as well? Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's interesting that sort of, well, maybe you're going to come on and talk about this, but the idea of what is the distinction between people we feel we can be happy for and the people we feel we can't be happy for?
I wasn't really going to come on to that, but it was just a sort of an introductory comment. But it's another avenue of discussion, that's for sure. So
how I like to take you down avenues of discussion.
You do, and I like to drag you back in line with my notes. But there may be opportunities to discuss that point.
All right,
I'm sure you'll have some value.
I'll let you drive.
Well, before we get into it, just a couple of things from last week's episode, real spill over from last week's episode. I did look up the name of the Osmond brothers. I don't know if you did.
I did. Wayne. I think we did. We think of Wayne.
I think we got Alan and Wayne. It was Merrill and Merrill and Jay. I think we missed out on.
Yeah, we did. Merrill and Jay. Well, it's because they've got silly names, haven't they?
It is, but I didn't realise there's two older brothers that went in the group as well. So it's a huge family.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, there's two old. The two eldest were a guy called Virl.
Virl?
Virl. You haven't heard of that? Virl and Tom.
Virl. They meant to call him Viral, but they missed one of the letters out, didn't they?
Yeah, got it wrong when they went to register him.
And what's the other one called?
Tom.
Oh, Tom. Well, that's a great name.
That's straightforward. Yeah, yes. But they both had hearing issues, apparently, so they couldn't join in.
That's what they told their brothers, so they didn't listen to their dreadful music.
Well, I say it could be argued the rest of them didn't have great hearing either, but that would be a bit churlish, I feel.
Do you know, after we had that conversation, I found, the concept of an earworm.
Yes.
After we had that conversation, I found myself singing Long-Haired Lover from Liverpool all day in my head. So I was cursing.
That's a terrible earworm. That's probably one of the worst that's come out of the catalogue of any Osmond songs.
Yeah, although Crazy Horses was pretty bad.
Yeah, I quite liked that back in the day. It was a bit of a departure from their normal stuff, wasn't it? But yeah. But anyway, at the second point, we talked about the demise of Karamak.
Yeah.
Now, when we went to the Christmas meal last night, Val, who listens to this podcast, and I brought along, and she gave me some caramilk buttons.
Because you used to like a button, didn't you?
I used to like a button, yes, yes. And so she bought me a packet of those. So I did when I got home last night. I did start them, and they're delicious.
Are they?
Yeah, big fan. Yeah, treat yourself.
Don't start eating them in bed again, will you?
That was back in my drunken days, eating chocolate in bed. Yes.
I don't know why, but that's still one of my favourite images. Eating chocolate buttons in bed.
Waking up and having them stuck to my face, when I looked in the mirror, going for a shave, and there they were, a couple of nice buttons. It's terrible, really. But
that would be one of the big dangers with a caramilk button, because you might not even notice it.
It's more skin coloured, you're right.
Particularly in the summer, because you know how tanned you get.
Yeah.
So
there's a lesson. There's a lesson to be learned.
Yeah.
Going on to the subject matter. Unless there's anything else you wanted to put in there before we start, I didn't put any funny stories or anything in this week because I thought I had enough.
Well, you told us a funny story because you reminded me about you getting chocolate buttons stuck on your
You've discharged that responsibility.
which is funny enough for me.
Okay, we'll go on to the subject matter then, shall we?
Yeah, why not?
There's an old saying that jealousy is the thief of joy. And we know that it's obvious then that moving away from that emotional state to it's got to be beneficial. I looked up the opposite of jealousy. I Googled it, the opposite of jealousy, and I come across something I wasn't expecting really. Because it's difficult to find an opposite of that really in one word or a phrase. I came across things like the opposite of jealousy and envy is considered to be contentment or gratitude. Which was, I struggled to find that as a polar opposite. But
I would have thought it was more like admiration.
Yeah, that sort of thing. But I came across a word that I hadn't heard of before, which was compersion. Have you come across compersion?
Compersion?
Yeah. Have you come across that?
No, you've made that up, haven't you?
I haven't. And I looked it up, and I went to the Urban Dictionary, and it defines compersion, which is a response here to the opposite of jealousy. Compersion is a feeling of joy when a loved one invests in and takes pleasure from another romantic or sexual relationship. So it's the bedrock of a polyamorous relationship. I thought I'm going down a wormhole here. I'm not sure I like it.
Well, that's probably why I haven't heard of compersion.
Yeah. But it's obviously it strikes me as a sort of a slang word, or it's a word that's been used by certain people in certain circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably a word that's going to disappear as quickly as it arrived in my life.
Do you think
I can't imagine myself using that very much.
No. I mean, it's sort of it was trying to explain, it was, when I read further on that, it was trying to explain sort of relationships and how we must try and find a balance in a relationship between being over jealous and controlling of their partner and having complete compassion, where you don't really care about what they do, and in fact, you're quite pleased when they go off and see other people.
Well, I mean, that's the balance in relationships that is sits somewhere between certainty and uncertainty.
Yes. Okay.
To be in a healthy relationship, you want to feel some level of uncertainty about your partner, don't you? Because that's what keeps it vibrant and interesting.
Yeah.
You know, if you just feel completely complacent all the time, then it's pretty dull. But you don't want to feel so uncertain that you're going to have a heart attack.
Yeah, quite.
So that's what we're looking for, isn't it, in our relationships? That sort of balance between feeling as if you're very fortunate to be with that person, but not so fortunate that you don't deserve it.
Yeah, no, quite. It was again a little bit of a rabbit hole I went down on that one. But I thought it was quite an interesting thing to throw in there.
So you kind of dragged yourself away from your own notes there.
I have to a large extent, yes.
Nice.
But to get back on point, then, as it were, because there's key points to consider when you're looking at perhaps why it happens, why we're jealous, and how to move away from that to a more stable emotional state. First key point I came across was about feeling happy for others. If you do that, it doesn't have to invalidate your own struggles. And I think you and I have talked about it in the past, which you can have two emotions going on at the same time, which is possible, isn't it? There may be some word you therapists use for that, but if you're feeling sad or anxious or dissatisfied with the status of your own life, I think it's quite easy to get stuck into that cycle. But it is possible, and it's sort of very mentally healthy to experience those two emotions we're talking about at the same time. But sharing of the happiness of others doesn't change your own circumstances or emotions, but it can give you a break from them. I think that's the important point. So if you are stuck in a bit of in a downward spiral, enjoying other people's success, it can take you away from your own struggles for a while. It can be a healthy yin and yang situation.
Yeah, it gives you a break from it, but also models where you're traveling to.
Yes.
So, if you see someone I guess this must happen a lot in peer support. If you've recently lapsed, but you see someone doing well in their recovery and you're back into your recovery situation, then, you can take heart from that, can't you?
You can, yes.
And actually, I can't remember when we spoke about this, but we definitely spoke about how that feeling of jealousy, if you're in a difficult situation, I think you gave an example of this. When you're in a difficult situation, if you don't want good things for other people, what you're really trying to do is to pull everyone down to your miserable level.
Yeah, you are. That's it.
How's that going to help? It's. I think you mentioned last week how we're the average of the 5 people you most closely associate with, or whatever it is. Well, if that's the case, you don't really want to be pulling people down into your misery, do you? Because all that's going to happen then is you're going to perpetuate it. So finding the ability to feel happiness for other people whilst acknowledging your own struggle, there is a connection between the two, isn't there? Your ability to find joy in other people's success, hopefully, creates some of the bedrock for your own improvement and growth.
Yeah. It's certainly how the peer support groups work, because people come back in after a lapse full of guilt and shame, and though everyone will put their arms around them and say it's okay, this is all part of the journey. It is. I think it's a tough one for those people coming back into the rooms when that situation. But I think the real strength of those people is actually coming back into the rooms at all. I
expect it must happen. I don't know if anybody ever talks about this, but I imagine it must happen that if you have lapsed in that moment, that's probably a time when it is quite hard to see other people doing well, because it's like you've suddenly taken this fall.
Yeah.
And it might be something of a relief to see other people similarly struggling. So you don't feel so alone then, do you? You don't feel so isolated. So I think really the most realistic thing for us to hope for is that we can kind of transition through that period. I think it's natural, isn't it, to feel if you're in a really difficult space, it's quite nice to see someone else in a difficult space as well, because you think, oh, it's not just me. But you've got to get yourself out of that, I think, is what we're saying. You need to move through that.
Yeah, you do.
To be able to sustain anything better.
We do see that all the time in the recovery groups, where someone will, especially if they're in a relationship with someone that's still drinking, they're desperate to get them back on their side, back to the dark side.
Yeah.
There will be that pressure all the time to do that, because that other person. And we find people get jealous of suddenly their partner, for example, that's got into recovery, suddenly get new friends, and they've suddenly got a structure. They're going out to AA meetings, or they're going to come along to Aspire or whatever, and they're suddenly looking happier and chirpier, and they can't be controlled anymore. And I think that's a part.
Well, so, I mean, this is one of the, again, you might be coming on to talk about this, but that's a classic example of one of the reasons why people do feel jealous for other people's success, because it is shining a light on them.
It absolutely right. Yes, it makes them also have to consider perhaps where they are. Yeah,
exactly that.
And it can be very uncomfortable.
Yeah. So in that sense, your jealousy at someone else's success often isn't about the other person; it's about you.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah, very much. Very much. The next point I wanted to come on to was, which headed up, reflect on how things change over time. Because sometimes sorry?
Snappy.
So it is snappy. Well, I think what it's getting at is that a lot of people we may perceive as being happy, and perhaps it would be invoked a little bit of jealousy for, they've probably struggled to get there. It hasn't been plain sailing. It's not a snapshot. It's not like I suppose it reflects the way that social media works, where you just see a sanitized version of people's lives. And so you may think, I'm jealous about what they've done, but they may have worked bloody hard to get there and gone through all sorts of hurdles, had their own issues, etc. So I think it's even though that the happy news of others is perhaps not about us, the way that the lives of others change just gives us hope for the future. Coming back to your point there, so looking behind what's happened can be quite nourishing, and that does give us hope. Again, which is again the bedrock of our peer support groups, is when people talk about what they've gone through to get where they are today, and that gives real hope to others. Yeah,
it's this week in my my blog is about the peril of taking shortcuts, and that's really what you're talking about there.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
If you've struggled for a long time, it's quite natural that you want to suddenly get better. And I've definitely seen this in recovering addicts a lot. Yeah. They're very impatient.
Very, yeah.
Right. And so, but there's so much research to illustrate that the more patient we are, the deeper we develop an understanding of why we got to where we got to. And the more we kind of learn about our position and climb out of it gradually, the more sustainable that is, and the more likely we are to sustain kind of long-term improvement and happiness and balance. So whilst it feels hard when you're in it, all the research suggests that the longer you're able to tolerate it and stick through the hard work, the more likely you are to be able to change permanently.
That makes absolute sense. But it is strange because I think humanity looks for shortcuts in everything. But you're right, in the recovery community, people want to go to detox and that's it. I mean, and they can go back and be a social drinker sort of thing.
Of course, and some shortcuts are great. There are lots of ways in which shortcuts can be useful, but I think we tend to try and use shortcuts indiscriminately. Anything. It was prompted. The piece that I wrote was prompted by I was out on a walk with the dogs, and I was walking past a wheelie bin. And on the top of the wheelie bin was this book that had been thrown out about day trading.
Oh, okay.
So people buy books like that because they want to get rich quick.
Yeah.
But it says something, doesn't it, that the book's been tossed out?
It's been in the bin. It's on top of the bin. Hasn't even made it in the bin.
Exactly. Yeah. So there are certain things that I think it's not really helpful for us to look for shortcuts towards, and one of them is emotional improvement.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think it comes on to the next point quite nicely about challenging negative thoughts regarding the happiness of others, which can be quite tough. But the examples it gives that if we are in a position where we think other people have all the good luck, I think we talked about that last week as well, about we can go into victim mode a little bit, go, oh, it never happens to me, I'm always unlucky, I'll never win the raffle or whatever. And what it suggests is to put thoughts in your head, such as my turn will come at some point, or it's good to see things working out. Generate thoughts in the brain that gets out of this spin cycle of negativity.
Well, this is something we often discuss, isn't it? Which is how you can't necessarily stop the instinctive thought that you have, but it can be really helpful to investigate it, to think about what is going on here. Why am I thinking this? If you feel jealous about someone, it might be because you don't like that person. Okay, so it might figure then, mightn't it, that if you take against someone for some particular reason, if they have a bit of good fortune, I suppose it's not terribly surprising that you feel jealous. But if you feel jealous for someone, when you really think about it, you think that's a bit odd, then it is worth really considering that, because my bet is it's saying more about you than it is about them. And it's certainly the case when we feel jealous about people we don't even know.
Yeah, quite.
So if you feel jealous about someone you don't know having success, that is definitely saying something about you. It's like someone's holding a mirror up to you and asking you to look at yourself.
Well, you're right. Going back to that, to the point we're talking about is, with our own children. Very easy to look at them and be happy for them, because they're our children. But it's much more difficult to be happy for acquaintances or people that you don't even know, as you say. But then to be jealous for those people you don't even know, it's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it goes back to the jackpot winners, the lottery winners, doesn't it? You don't know them, but there can be a bit of jealousy because the financial security they've suddenly got, or the extreme wealth that they can fritter away.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever been on the end of, this is something I've just thought of, and I don't know how you're going to answer this, but on the end of other people being jealous of you, have you witnessed it or felt, people are being jealous? Because I remember it happened to me back in the corporate days when I was working for Standard Life, and the area that I was looking after, obviously on the road, looking after the brokers in the area, and all of a sudden I had a broker move into the area, a massive broker that was doing a lot of business. Suddenly, I started shooting up the lists, and people got really bristly about it, about my good luck on that, because how
did that manifest?
Manifested by being sulky around me.
Right. Okay.
And I almost started apologising. I had no input over that, and I did. I always felt that I should be apologetic of my.
So you recognised that it had been a bit of good fortune.
Yeah.
Obviously that's the luck of the draw, right?
Yeah.
It's a great question, that, because I'm really thinking about it, and I don't know whether it's because no one's ever felt jealous of me, or whether I've not seen it, or whether I've just been oblivious to it. But I can't really recall that happening. I mean, it probably has happened. I've had fortune in my life the same as anyone else has.
Yeah.
But I've not really noticed it. And it's made me wonder why I haven't noticed it.
I think this particular case, I think most people are discreet enough not to show it, or pleasant enough not to show it if they are a bit jealous. But this was overt. And, you could almost hear people whispering about it. I thought, I almost felt like leaving and go and work for another company. It was horrible.
Oh, yeah. No, so I suppose that is quite an extreme one, isn't it? Because people are seeing you. But that's the same thing that we've just been talking about, isn't it? People are seeing you get a bit of good fortune.
Yeah.
They're feeling jealous. That's not about you. What they're saying is, I wish I had that. Right?
Yeah,
what is that saying about them? If you wish you'd had that opportunity drop into your lap, there must be something in there about your belief in your ability to generate the same sort of opportunities for yourself, or what is it? This is, I think, so often the point with jealousy. If you feel jealous, your understanding of it is obscured by you looking at the object of your jealousy, whereas more often than not, the object of your jealousy, or the place to look to really understand it, is in yourself.
Yeah.
What is this saying about you?
The last point I wanted to talk to you about really on this was how we express our happiness towards others. Okay, so if you are really genuinely happy, and they were suggesting things that, just a simple telephone call or a text of congratulations can sometimes mean the world to the recipient, and you're starting to join in their, you're starting to join in their joy as well, and you start to feel better in yourself when you are giving out those congratulations and those thanks.
I think that's right. I'd go further than that, though. I'd say if you really want to address this, yes, of course, voice your admiration and pleasure for people who have done well, either through success or fortune or whatever else. But also try and do that same thing when it feels a little bit uncomfortable for you. So if something happens and you're sort of feeling that, oh, bloody hell, why has that happened to you? It can be a great way of overturning that feeling to push yourself to congratulate them. Not in a sort of snidey way.
Yeah, or a passive aggressive.
Be generous, be cheerful. If you don't do it if you can't, but if you can, be open-hearted about it.
Yeah.
Tell them that you well done. I'm pleased that you've had that fortune, because as we've said before, when you genuinely show people love from your heart, it feels great. And so I think if you start to learn that showing people appreciation and admiration and congratulation for the successes they've had, if it feels good to you, it'll be easy to do it more often and you won't feel so much jealousy.
Good, because that comes back to that point, Reed, doesn't it? That, as you were saying, it sort of reminded me, it's a muscle we need to exercise, I think, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Because it becomes stronger and it becomes a more natural use of that. I think you're right, because I suppose we've got to be careful not to come across as being disingenuous or being fake in our praise, because again, it can be sort of a passive aggressive move, can't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you can't do it with honesty, don't do it. But try and understand why you're having difficulty doing it.
Yeah.
But it can be really cathartic to congratulate someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it can.
That sort of connection makes the world a better place.
No, absolutely right. Absolutely right. And it was having going back to the reason I wrote this episode about watching Nick do his stuff. It was lovely, and again, see him doing it again last night, and it's just watching people's and he's having success, and a lot of people like the work that he's doing, and I think it's really great. Now I could be jealous, having been in a band in the past that we didn't get very far, thinking, oh no, I'm jealous of what's, but I'm really not. It's lovely, and I've got past that, and it's lovely.
We played some nice pubs in the Medway towns. What's the matter with you?
Yeah, but I could be jealous about still not doing it, for example, or still not having that fun, not getting that buzz of being on stage.
Well, you see, that's a really good example, because if that were the case, if you were watching him and you were feeling jealous about not still doing it, it's a beautiful illustration of how it really is about you, because the only reason you're not still doing it is because of you.
Yeah, quite.
You could. Nothing to stop you doing it.
No.
So feeling jealousy at seeing someone else doing something you want to do, that's the true value in trying to understand what's going on. Because if you can really understand what's going on there, you can do something about it. And if you don't do something about it, well, there's no basis for your jealousy anymore, is there?
No, quite.
So we're getting the band back together then.
I'm not jealous, so I'm all right. I'm quite happy to watch. I'm too old for all that malarkey.
Oh, I don't know about that. I take issue with that. I don't think you're ever too old, are you? I mean, Mick Jagger's still doing it. He must be nearly 80, isn't he?
He has, I suppose, but he had enormous success when he was a teenager. So he's been living on that since, I think, hasn't he?
Yeah, but his success is irrelevant to his desire to get up or his ability to get up and sing, isn't it?
True, yeah. That's another issue, whether it looks dignified or not, but you're right.
You're worried about your knees giving way.
Yeah, can you imagine that? Yeah.
You sit down.
Fall into the mosh pit. You never get out. You can't get up. Your knees are too creaky. Get back up on stage. Anyway, just to sum up, we have to remember that it's possible to achieve genuine happiness for others and to become part of their joy and join their journey.
Anyway, yes, I agree. You're right.
And also just to sum up that going into recovery naturally makes you more positive. You feel this natural shift in the peer support system which you find also in the fellowships. You genuinely feel the joy and do join in the success of other people, because you're on a I don't want to use the word journey again there, but you're bound together and you're moving forward together. You've all got the same condition, and it's cathartic when you talk about how you're getting there and what's happened to you in the past. But it's also
you're
lovely
free to use the word journey.
You turned your nose up and snarled at me, so I think you're jealous of me using that word all the time because you want to use it.
I definitely don't.
So that's about it, really. I wanted to, if I could, unless there's anything else you wanted to add at this point, just move on to our gratitude list.
No, that's fine. Except that I don't know whether you've done it deliberately or inadvertently, but the last 3 episodes have hung together quite well. It's almost as if you planned it.
No, purely coincidental, mate. Yeah, purely coincidental.
You could have taken credit for that. No one would have known.
I could have done. I mean, this episode only occurred to me last week, so after the others have been recorded anyway. So,
there we are.
I'm just surprised I was able to drag an episode out of one little thought.
Well, we've been doing that for the last 3.5 years.
Got away with it, haven't we? So, anyway, what would you put on your gratitude list this week?
I've got firm clementines.
Okay, it's not a euphemism or anything like that, is it? You actually
it's not. This time
clementines? What do you call it? Clementines?
Oh, I don't know. Clementine. You know, the little orange fruit.
I know exactly what you mean.
Well, firstly, I only eat them at this time of year because, as far as I'm concerned, satsumas, tangerines, clementines, they're associated with Christmas for me.
Absolutely, yeah, this time of year.
So I know people eat them at other times of year, but not for me. But it's very difficult to get good quality clementines in the... you've made me self-conscious about pronunciation of that word now.
Well, I'm not sure
you've got in my head there. It's very difficult to find, firm, juicy fruits with the right balance of sort of sourness and sweetness.
Okay.
So recently I bought some from crowd farming. If anyone hasn't discovered crowd farming,
crowd farming, no.
You can buy sort of fruits and vegetables in bulk from from the farmer.
I didn't know what that name was, but I know you've indulged in that in the past.
So I bought myself 5 kilos of.
Did you fucking hell? I swore then. Did you?
And honestly, they're the best fruits I've ever had. They're magnificent. Well, of that ilk, Yeah. They are absolutely magnificent, and so. I've been feeling grateful for them every time I've eaten one.
Oh, well, that's good. I mean, with that gratitude will continue when you're sick of them and they've hardened up in the new year.
I won't be sick of them because when as the winter goes on, I'll stop eating them. Right, I'll eat something else, turnips or something. I don't know. Apples.
But yeah, that clementine is very much associated with this time of year. So I can, and I think any fruit that you get direct from the farmer is great. As you know, I'm a big fan of that. So I can join in your joy. I'm not jealous of you. I can join in your joy of those. Well, I'd certainly be a joy if you let me have a few. That's more like it.
Well, I've only got 5 kilos.
Only 5 kilos. That's not the last year. I think that's good. Well, I've got. It's a bit different. There's not something you can eat here, but it's on my gratitude list, and I will have to qualify this once I've finished what I'm going to tell you. Is Sif Power and Shine Lime Scale and Soap Scum Remover. Okay. That doesn't sound like something you should be particularly grateful for, but where we're working at the moment, we're sort of redecorating a whole house that's between tenants. It's being rented out, and when we were doing the bathroom, we'd done a lot of work in there. It looked really nice, apart from the fact, you get the lime scale builds up on the shower screen, and we couldn't get it off. And then I thought, so I looked out and I said, get some of this Sif, it's really good. And I used it, and it was brilliant. It came out like new. Because it said on the outside, it says 100% guarantee. We were laughing, so yeah, sure it is. But it worked. It was fantastic.
Have you ever been called soap scum?
I haven't. Just trying to think, but no, I don't think I have.
I bet you were by some of those colleagues when you got that bit of luck on your territory.
I can hear him mumbling something about that, something similar, yeah.
That's what they called you, soap scum pankhurst, they called
sporty git. I think that's mostly what was going through their minds.
No, that's great. That's good. I've got something to add to my shopping list then.
Yes, so I was going to move on then to the feature we normally have here, which is 100 skills that every person should master, which you sent me a list with the 100 on some time ago. And the one that I looked at this week, now, last week I think was the first one we decided it wasn't necessary. And I think this one may fall into the same category, but I'll let you decide.
Okay.
They think one of the skills that every person should master is to recite a poem from memory. What do you think about that?
Well, I've got two thoughts about that. One, I don't think it's necessary.
No, quite.
But I do think it's quite nice.
I think it falls into that category, really, doesn't it? Because especially when other things in the category have been things like how to survive a bear attack, which can be vital. But reciting a poem from memory, I think you're right. It falls into that.
I think the importance of citing a poem from memory is context dependent.
Okay, go on.
So it'd be useful in some situations, wouldn't it?
Yes. It would be.
So when I say it's context dependent, if you're being attacked by a bear, it is more useful to know how to defend yourself against a bear than it is to recite a poem from memory. Especially if you're on a date, maybe it'd be quite a nice little. It's not the sort of thing that people would do so much these days, is it? How many people can recite poetry from memory? I think it's I would put it in the category of that's a rather lovely skill to have.
I suppose if it does come out, but I think you've got to be careful. It can come out as arrogant as well.
Oh, really?
Or a bit. So that people look at it as a bit snobby. It's a bit sometimes. You can feel that if you quote. Sometimes I'll do it. But in groups, and I might quote something from a philosopher, and I think that came across as a bit wanky.
Well, that's because you're quoting something from a philosopher, and sometimes that can seem a bit wanky. I mean, do you have a favourite poem?
I quite like the one. Is it W.H. Auden, The Stop All the Clocks? And I quite like it. It's quite sad, and it's often said at funerals and stuff. I'd quite like that. But there's certain poets that I studied when I was at school. Coleridge really, and some of the Coleridge stuff, and even some Chaucer. But I don't know any of them by heart.
Yeah, you see that, but that's the thing, because I think that sort of ilk, that sort of genre of poetry would be more easily seen as, you're being a bit pompous.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is, I think you want to learn some more modern poetry.
Well, John Cooper Clarke, which is obviously my favourite poet of all time.
There you go.
And he's modern and he's still alive.
My favourite poem that I can't recite by heart, apart from the first line, is a poem called The Orange by Wendy Cope. I love that poem.
Okay.
And it would be the poem that if I felt I needed to learn a poem, it would be that poem that I would learn.
Okay.
So, and I don't think anyone would say, well, that's quite pompous.
Would they not? No.
No, because it's more contemporary and it's got a lovely sentiment. And actually, I think it's it has something about it, which is a lovely feature of poetry, which is it really makes you kind of think about the words. And every time you hear it, you kind of see a little different thing in it. And it's beautiful.
In fact, I ought to acquaint myself with that. And I think perhaps we should recommend to our listeners that they acquaint themselves with a certain John Cooper Clarke poem, A Chicken Town, which is one of my favourites. And it's although it's expletive filled, it's got lovely rhythm to it.
Yeah. It's probably best we don't recite it.
It's not but probably quite easy to learn, but the delivery at pace that he uses would be difficult.
And the accent.
And the accent, of course, which makes it the Mancunian accent. I think it makes that a perfect poem, doesn't it?
Yeah. So is that your favourite then?
Chicken Town has got to be there, yeah.
Right, okay.
It's one that
we didn't realise we were going to choose our favourite poem.
No, we didn't, and we've honed in on it. Yeah. Okay, we'll go to the little music quiz. I think you might be all right this week. I've got.
Oh, that's it. Put bloody pressure on me.
I've got some I've got some good vibes about this. Well, the first one is the year in which there's a number one in the UK, a very big track that everyone knows, Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. Okay, now so you've got to just tell me which year that is in November of this year that it was number one.
I think that's quite difficult, actually. It's going to be early, mid-70s, I reckon. It's probably 70. I'm going to go 74 or 5. I'm not looking at you.
Oh, right, okay.
You're going to give me a hint, and I don't want that.
Okay.
I'm going to say 75.
Well done. Bang on the money, mate. There's your 2-pointer.
Yes. I went for 75 because West Ham won the FA Cup that year.
That's how I'd remember it, yeah. West Ham beating Fulham 2-0 in the final.
Perhaps that's why Queen wrote it.
I think it was, yeah.
It was really for Alan Taylor, wasn't it?
I think Freddie was always very much inspired by football, wasn't he?
Okay, good. So that's a good start.
Good start, mate. Do you know what year Tina Turner was born?
Oh, goodness me.
Again, it's a well-known
She died. Did she die recently?
She did, yes. I could have put her down on the deaths as well, but I didn't. I chose someone else. But I think,
well,
yes.
I tell you what, a year came into my head, just popped straight into my head. So I'm going to tell you, it doesn't. I don't know if it's going to be close, but I don't think it'll be wildly out. 1951.
No, you are wildly out. 1939.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. So she was much older than I thought she was.
Yeah, she's in her 80s, isn't she, when she died, obviously.
Oh, okay. So that's... Can we draw a discreet veil over
Yes, we can. We go on to the next one. Was the person that died? Tina Turner, I think, died last year, or the year before. Yeah, so it would that would have been. But I thought, no, I'll choose someone different because I'm going to choose for someone that died at the age of 79, Christine McVie from Fleetwood Mac.
Oh,
do you know what year she died at the age of 79?
2021.
Oh, you got a point. It's 2022, so you're.
I couldn't remember whether it was last year or the year before. I remember her dying.
Yes.
Oh, so that's 3 points. I think that's the most I've ever got, isn't it?
That's the best, mate. Yeah.
I think I have had 3 points before.
I think you probably have.
I've never had anything more than 3 points. So
no, you've done well, mate.
I've matched my best ever.
You are, and I'm joining in your joy.
Thank you.
Not jealous
of you. Yeah, great stuff.
Excellent.
Right, I'll see you later.
We'll talk next week. Thank you.
Laters.
Bye.
Bye. The Orange by Wendy Cope. At lunchtime, I bought a huge orange. The size of it made us all laugh. I peeled it and shared it with Robert and Dave. They got quarters, and I had a half. And that orange, it made me so happy, as ordinary things often do just lately, the shopping, a walk in the park. This is peace and contentment. It's new. The rest of the day was quite easy. I did all the jobs on my list and enjoyed them and had some time over. I love you. I'm glad I exist. Sideways was created by Graham Landy and Martin Pankhurst. If you want to read more about our work or sort through the extensive archive of past episodes, just visit grahamlandywellbeing.co.uk/sideways-podcast. You can follow us on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram at Sideways Podcast, and you can email us if you have a question or if there's something you'd like us to cover. But most of all, we want to tell you how grateful we are that you come and listen, and we ask that if you've enjoyed what you've heard, that you spread the word. And we'll see you next week.